Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me. I'm on the embankment at Yelvertoft Marina. I've got a lovely view. The marina is iced in at the moment. I'm not so sure it's that clear from the drone shots. I'm doing some more testing of the Hollyland Lark M1 digital wireless microphone system. It would help follow along if you've seen the first part, but it's not essential, as after the intro I'll put up some details about the product. And I've now tested with my iPhone and I'm very pleased with it all. I think it's an absolutely great system. Hi, and thanks for joining me. In this second part, I test the Lark M1 microphone connected to an iPhone and explain a sound error that some viewers noticed. The temperatures here are very, very cold at the moment. We're in minus figures most of the time, just rising a little bit during the day. We've been iced in for a couple of days, and I think we will be for 3, 4 or even 5 days more. Anyway, I'm doing some more testing for Hollyland, and there are two reasons for that. One is that when I did the original testing, I hadn't been sent the cables to connect to a mobile phone, and now I have them. I have a lightning cable to connect to an iPhone, and I have an Android cable. This is a Type-C connector for the Android phone. And with these cables, you can connect the receiver into the bottom of your phone. And I'm going to be doing that in a moment and testing that. Another reason I'm doing further testing is that the stereo sound on the first test wasn't right. And I'd like to thank several viewers for pointing that out to me. It took me a while to work out what the issue was. Now, some of you may recall I did show a snapshot of the camera and the receiver connected to it. What you also saw was that the Sony microphone was plugged into the hot shoe, and that was the fault. I've done testing by taking the microphone completely away from the camera, disconnecting it from the shoe, and the stereo records fine. So any of you that were aware of the problem and didn't mention it, that is the reason. It's nothing whatsoever to do with the product. My testing was at fault. The other thing I'd like to mention is I said LOS was loss of signal. I knew it also meant line of sight. In fact, I found over 30 definitions for LOS, and I wasn't really sure whether it was to be loss of signal or line of sight. And the reason I mentioned loss of signal was it was a parameter under transmission range. And that made me think, loss of signal. I did mention to the company my blooper, as it were, and they didn't really seem that bothered. One or other seems to serve the purpose equally well. So many, many thanks to those that mentioned that, and I hope it didn't spoil anyone's enjoyment. I think it was those that were listening through headphones in stereo that realized the mistake, and what was happening was that the left channel was quite loud and the right hand channel was barely audible, so there was an imbalance. No one has mentioned that happening watching the TV. I don't think you'd be aware of it if you were watching on a laptop or something, or on a mobile phone. And I would have thought if you were on a TV with one of these surround sound systems, you would have picked up on it. But no one actually mentioned specifically that they were watching TV and noticed it. So I'm now going to carry on and do the test with my phone. I've got to go find my phone, and we'll carry on with that now. So I've got my phone and I've got the cable. This is the patch cable for the iPhone. I can't test an Android phone because I don't have one. But what's going to happen is I'm going to plug this into the bottom of the phone, and then I'm going to plug the receiver into here. So now you can see probably more clearly that I am using the microphone on the noise cancellation setting with the muff. That's how I'm doing the testing today. So all the recording of the sound now is coming straight to my phone using this microphone and the receiver. So I'm going to walk away a little bit and see what it sounds like. So I'm still talking. I'm going to change the angle of the camera so that you can see me walk away a little bit further. Is that better? I think I can do it a little bit lower again. I keep knocking the receiver when I do this, so there may be some interference. So I'm coming back here now. I'm waving to the camera. I'm just going to go for a little walk. Obviously, reception will be better when I'm facing the camera than when I turn away. So I'm going to turn away and see what happens. Just walking down a little bit. It's another glorious day here, although it's very, very cold. So I'm hoping that my phone, my iPhone, it's an SE, is picking up the sound okay. I'm about 6 feet, 2 meters away from the camera at the moment. I don't know if there's much more testing I can do. I could walk down there. I think maybe I'll do that. Let's just see if I can set the camera up to look at me a further distance away. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yep. Right, I'm going to walk away for some distance. I'm going to turn my back on you now and we'll see how it records. I'm about 60 feet, 20 meters from the camera now. No, it must be a little bit further than that, I think. So I'm going to come back to the camera. Oh dear, I'm getting a bit sniffly. But it is really glorious today. The weather we like. So, I hope that has come out well. I'll have a listen in a minute. What I haven't mentioned is that yesterday I did some testing with the camera in the boat and I was walking about on the jetties. It was another glorious day and I was really pleased with how well the camera picked up my voice. Have a listen. I'm just nipping out to the van to put something away. And I'm testing the microphone at the same time. I've left the camera inside the boat. And I'm going to walk out to the van. So let's just put that away in the van. I'm doing some further testing of the Lark M1 microphone. The camera is inside the boat. I'm outside, stood on the jetty. The camera is set to automatic for the audio control. I'm now going to walk along my jetty back onto what I call the pontoon. So I'm now at the end of my boat. Turning left, just walking down a little bit. I'm going to turn round now and face my boat, which is a bit difficult because the sun is there. So I'm out here and the camera is inside the boat. So it'll be interesting to know what the sound quality is like. I'm just going to walk to the end of this jetty. It's a shame about that alarm going off on the boat, rather annoying. Now at the moment I'm using the standard setting on the microphone. I'm now going to use the noise cancellation button, which is a little yellow button. The blue light turns green, and I have reduced the background sound, so we'll see how that now records. Beautiful skies, really beautiful. I've got to be careful, I don't want to fall off the jetty. So there we have it, you can see the frozen marina here. There's my boat there. So I'm now going to walk back to my boat. The video is being recorded on my GoPro 7, so the pictures you'll see will be from that and not from my Sony camera. So I'm now coming back down. It is a beautiful day, beautiful, beautiful day. So let's now see what the sound is like with me stood on the end of my jetty using the noise cancellation. I think that's enough of that probably. So I'm now going to go back inside the boat. The experiments you've just seen was me testing different audio settings on my camera. When I went out to the van, the setting was on manual, but with a high volume, and that didn't work for me, I have to say. When I was close to the camera, the sound was very loud. When I opened the sliding door, it didn't seem to record that well. So we know we don't want a high volume setting. I then did a setting with a very low volume, and I thought it was set too low. The instruction booklet recommends you put your setting on to 1. Now my camera doesn't have numbers. It has a little bar system, a graded bar system. So I then put it on what I will call 2.5, and I felt that was too low. Anyway, the next setting I did was the auto setting, which I've just shown you. And I thought that worked pretty well on the whole. I was quite pleased with that. That was just using the automatic setting in the camera rather than me using an adjustable setting when it's set to manual. So I was quite pleased with how that came out. And what I was actually doing, I walked around the boat several times with several different settings, and I'm not going to show you all that being done. But I will show you the next setting that I used, which I'm calling 5. So it's a manual setting on 5, and I will show you that. What I also want to say now is that when I did the original testing, it was completely done on the hoof. That means no prep, no planning, no nothing. You saw me take the product out of the box, and then I was testing. I didn't do any tests that you didn't see. What I filmed was the test. There was no discarded footage. Oh, that didn't work, we'll do it again. It was the real thing. And what you saw earlier in this video, when I was testing the microphone with my iPhone, again, that was all done exactly as you saw it. No pre-testing, just done on the hoof. And that was incredible. I was really impressed with the quality of that. That was fantastic. So I'm going to do a sort of summing up now, but you will see at the end of this video me doing a sort of line of sight test over the 100 meters odd. So I'll leave that till the end, and you'll see that and how that went. And it did go extremely well. But for now, I just want to say again, thank you to Hollyland Technology for letting me do the testing. I think it is a fantastic system. I'm not on any commission or anything like that. I do get to keep the product. I did say that in the first part, so I do keep the product. But I think having realized my mistake with the stereo and done the testing again, it could only get better. It couldn't get any worse, could it? So I think it's an absolutely fantastic system, and one that I will definitely be using. I'm using it now. You can see I'm on the setting with the noise cancellation, and the muff is on. So I will be making good use of this. I've got no doubt about that. And I hope others will too. Some of you have already said you will be purchasing the system, which is fantastic. So I'm going to leave that there for now. I'm going to show you the test that I did with the setting on around 5. I think at the end of the day, you need to buy the system for yourself, do your own testing to see how best to set the audio for the results that it is that you're trying to achieve. So let's look at how the audio came out, set on a lower volume, but not too low. It really is a glorious day today. The microphone is on a standard setting without the noise cancellation. I'm going to walk along my jetty. Still a bit slippy here. I haven't removed all the ice. I'm now going to turn around and look at my boat. There's my boat. It's never a good idea to have the sun behind. I'm going to walk along this jetty. Look at those lovely blue skies. Let's turn and look at my boat again. I'm now going to put on the noise cancellation. So I'm just touching the yellow switch. The light has turned green. If there was any interference there, it should be when I was touching the actual microphone itself. I'm now going to go back to my boat. Let's take another look here on this sweep with the noise cancellation to see what that sounds like. Wow. Can't beat it, can you? I'm going to do one last test. I'm going to walk down there again, about 100 meters, like I did in the last test, and then walk back. I will have my back to you as I walk down, and then when I come back, obviously there'll be a direct line of sight between the receiver and the transmitter. So I'm going to walk down there again. Let's see how we get on. I'll keep talking as I'm going. I'm looking out across the marina. Got to be careful where I'm treading. As there is no direct line of sight between the transmitter and the receiver, you can hear that the audio is now very fuzzy. But look what happens when I turn around. I hope you can see me waving. I know I'm a long way off. I'll wave with both hands. So I must be a good 100 meters or more again. So now I'm going to walk back again. Lovely sky, isn't it? Wispy clouds. God, I will be glad to get back in the boat, there's no doubt about that. So I'm getting closer and closer to the camera. I'm going to thank you all for watching. There will be some more vlogs before Christmas still to come, so look out for those. But meanwhile, look after yourselves, your friends and families. Take the utmost care, particularly in this cold weather. Keep yourselves warm and comfortable. I think that's it. If you haven't subscribed, please do think about doing so. Click the little bell to receive notifications of future videos. I think that's it. I hope this further test has proved worthwhile. It's the Lark M1 Hollyland technology microphone. It's a digital wireless system. I've tested it now, not just outside, also in the boat, with the camera in the boat receiving, using a different camera to film, of course. And I've now tested with my iPhone, and I'm very pleased with it all. I think it's an absolutely great system. So think about buying it if you're interested in getting a system like this. That's it. Bye everyone. Bye for now. Take care.